Max was eating jam-covered toast, swinging his legs from the porch swing of his grandparents' cottage. When he saw Whiskers sauntering across the lawn, he dropped his toast and jumped to his feet. "There she is," he cried. To Max, Whiskers was not just a cat, she was a guardian of the morning, a mysterious creature with secrets in her eyes. He believed she could talk, if only he knew how to listen. He often followed her at a distance, pretending they were spies or knights or adventurers. He waved. The cat paused, blinked slowly at him on ancient feline greeting and continued walking. The dog next door. From behind a sturdy wooden fence, a large brown dog named Bruno saw Whiskers too. His tail went stiff, his ears perked, and a low growl rose from his throat. To Bruno, the cat was a defiant rogue, forever trespassing, ignoring his warnings. He barked wildly, lunging against the fence, but Whiskers didn't even flinch. She flicked her tail in the air, a silent mockery of his fury. She knew he couldn't reach her. Bruno barked louder. His pride demanded it. Tiny and gray, with twitching whiskers of her own, the mouse cowered under a loose board of the garden shed. Her heart pounded as the scent of feline drifted near. To her, the cat was the embodiment of fear-swift, silent, and deadly. She didn't see elegance or grace. She saw fangs, claws, and the lingering memory of a sibling who hadn't made it home. She scurried deeper into the shadows, hoping the paw steps would pass her by. A sparrow perched on a fence post eyed Whiskers with suspicion. The cat moved with purpose, her body low to the ground. To the bird, she was an unpredictable threat. Just last week, a cousin had been snatched mid-hop by a similar shape. No matter how lovely the morning or how pretty the feline looked in the sun, instinct warned the sparrow to flee. And so she died off into the sky with a shrill chirp of warning. Inside the small blue house, a goldfish circled a round bowl, water gently disturbed by the bubbling filter. When Whiskers leapt onto the windowsill, her face pressed curiously against the glass. The fish's world distorted. To the fish, the cat was a magnified blur-wide eyes, twitching ears, and sudden tapping. A giant from another realm. The goldfish veered sharply, seeking the farthest corner of its bowl. Walking slowly with his cane, Harold saw the cat cross the path ahead. His face softened. To him, Whiskers was a ghost. She reminded him of Pepper, the tabby who'd slept by his fire for 15 years. He tipped his hat. "Morning, ma'am," he murmured. Whiskers paused, blinked again, then moved on. Harold stood a moment longer, watching her fade into the tall grass, memories curling like smoke behind his eyes. In the tranquil morning garden, a butterfly dances through the air, unaware of the silent observer below. Beneath a flower bush, Whiskers rests motionless, blending seamlessly into the peaceful scene. To the butterfly, Whiskers is indistinguishable from the shadows and stillness of the garden. A squirrel, mid-bite on an acorn, freezes in place high above. I stare, tense. As the cat moves on, a raccoon rummages through trash, head lifting at the sound of paws. Whiskers strides confidently, a fellow scavenger in the alley's shadows, eyes glowing. I ignores the discarded sandwiches, uninterested in the humans' leftovers. In the sunlit garden, Clara sketches wildflowers, her artistic eye drawn to the graceful form of the cat. Clara pauses, captivated by the cat's poised figure, seeing in it a story waiting to be told. Clara begins a new sketch, eager to capture the cat's hidden depths, a life of untold stories. The cat moves silently into the woods, its paws barely rustling the leaves. A fox pauses on the trail, its amber eyes meeting the cat's golden gaze. In a gesture of mutual respect, the fox inclines its head, and the cat mirrors the movement. Little Ella crawls to the window, her tiny hands leaving smudges on the glass as she gazes out. Outside, Whiskers pauses, glancing back at the sound, perhaps sensing the innocent wonder of the child. Ella babbles excitedly, pointing as Whiskers moves on. A bee navigates through a field of sunflowers, briefly noticing Whiskers below. The bee perceives Whiskers as merely a warm obstacle, focused solely on flowers and flight. The crow caws, its cry piercing the evening air, a declaration of war against the feline intruders. The crow dives aggressively, a dark shadow against the fading light, determined to protect its domain. Whiskers, undisturbed by the aerial assault, responds with a mere flattening of an ear, unfazed by the crow's fury. Whiskers emerged from the trees near a quiet meadow. A young doe, ears twitching, lifted her head. To the deer, the cat was a curiosity, not a threat. They locked eyes for a moment. Then the cat sat and began grooming her paw. The deer, satisfied, returned to nibbling leaves. On the sidewalk, Anna drew with pink and yellow chalk, humming to herself. When she saw the cat, her eyes lit up. "To the Queen of Cats!" she declared, and added a crown above a cat she had already drawn. To her, Whiskers was royalty, strolling among commoners. The owl watched from above. Whiskers had passed this way many times under moonlight. To the owl, she was part of the night sometimes, a fellow hunter, sometimes competition. Even in daylight, the owl tracked her movements. Near the reeds, a green frog blinked lazily. The cat's reflection appeared in the water. To the frog, she was an echo, a ripple of fur and Whiskers real but distant. Old Thomas sprayed his rose and noticed Whiskers slink through the rows. To him, she was useful. She kept the mice away from his root cellar. He didn't bother her and she didn't bother him. It was a good relationship. Sitting beneath a willow tree, Naomi turned a page in her novel. Whiskers slipped beside her and curled into a loaf, eyes half closed. To Naomi, the cat was companionship without demand, a quiet presence who shared the world's stillness. Perched proudly on the fence, the rooster let out another raucous crow just as Whiskers passed below. To the rooster, the cat was competition for attention, always slinking about without announcing herself. He strutted and fluffed his feathers, glaring down as if daring her to step out of line. But Whiskers simply flicked an ear, unimpressed. She had no interest in barnyard politics. The rooster, fuming with indignant pride, gave another loud crow as if to reclaim the spotlight the cat had never asked for. Deep in the hedgerow, a little hedgehog sniffed the morning air. Whiskers' scent came first, then her soundless paws padded too close for comfort. To the hedgehog, she was a looming, unknowable danger, a silhouette too fast to fight and too near to flee. He curled into a tight, spiny ball, hoping to become invisible. Whiskers sniffed once, then walked on. To her, it was just another bramble. But to the hedgehog, it was a narrow escape from the jaws of doom. A column of ants was crossing the brick path near the vegetable beds when Whiskers walked by. Her paw steps landed like tremors in their miniature world. To the ants, she was a walking mountain massive, unfeeling, unaware of the intricate lives at her feet. One ant was swept aside by the gust of air from her tail, but she never saw them, never knew their silent cries or the brief disruptions she caused. Their world was too small, hers too large. He's a painter, arranges her easel, ready to immortalize the town spirit with her art. A sleek, black cat named Whiskers leaps gracefully onto a sun-drenched bench, seeking the warmth. With a feline flair for drama, Whiskers settles into a pose, inspiring Eloise to exclaim, "Magnifique! A muse!" The village inn pulses with warmth, its lively chatter and crackling fireplace wrapping around Eloise's painting. Whiskers. A young boy's eyes light up with wonder, sharing his innocent vision. It looks like a playful companion, ready for an adventure. An old woman gazes thoughtfully, her voice soft with nostalgia. To me, it's a symbol of grace and wisdom, a gentle reminder of simpler times. A weary traveler finds solace in the artwork, his words tinged with longing. It's a comforting presence, a reminder of home and hearth after a long journey. Eloise watches silently, her heart swelling as Whiskers weaves a tapestry of emotions through the inn. Whiskers arrives at the old mirror pond, dragonflies dancing above the still surface. He gazes into the pond, his eyes narrowed in contemplation. Fleeting memories dance across the water. A child's gentle touch, a playful chase. Eloise's art. Driven by pure instinct, he licks a paw, glances skyward, and walks on.